we are doing a sequence to open and kind of connect with your heart center. A good a time as any, I thought. So obviously all kind of postures, well, heart center, but also heart chakra, obviously. So we're working with the heart chakra, but thinking about kind of obviously expanding, creating space around this area. Just really on a physical level, obviously. There's a lot of tension held around the upper body. On an energetic level, there's always that sense of, you know, with each kind of any morning, any kind of negative experiences kind of get held, or especially to do with relationships, affairs of the heart, kind of get held here. We build up walls. So it's all about kind of softening, creating space, releasing any emotional or physical tension, but equally then allowing joyful emotions to flow in. So there's always an exchange. When we get rid of something, we let something in. That's the idea. So we're going to start just with a seated breath focus. I just want you to bring your left hand to where you kind of energetically connect with your heart, and then the right hand kind of seals on top. If there's any issue or discomfort holding the arms like this for any reason, then just have the hands into the lap or into Gyana Mudra. Okay, so you're just going to sit up kind of tall, comfortably. Let the shoulders and the arms relax. And just first of all, connect with a physical space. So being aware of, maybe if you've taken your hands over your heart, maybe you can feel your heart beating. If you've been rushing around, I'm sure your heart rate might still be a little quick. So just kind of tune into any physical sensations when you're placing your hands over your heart. You'll tend to want to breathe into the space around the heart when you have your hands placed here. So just be aware of the rise and fall of the chest. And then gradually you're just allowing the breathing to slow down and find a kind of slower, deeper pace. So in the interest of breathing deeply, you might want to breathe into the belly first and draw that up into the heart space. And equally softening the belly first and then softening the heart. So we're trying to stay with the feeling of the breath first of all. So expanding as you breathe in. And then that softening as you breathe out. And we're just really kind of trying to slow ourselves down and tune in. As you're breathing in, maybe an awareness of filling the heart with love, compassion. And then as you're breathing out, just being aware of softening, any holding, any physical, emotional tension around the heart. So we're just trying to let things go on the out breath. And just doing the same again. So we're going around, just breathing in, get that sense of really kind of filling your heart with love. With the exhalation, just letting go and softening, releasing. As you're breathing in, that sense of drawing love, compassion into your heart, maybe a color comes with that. So if we want to connect with the heart chakra, we either kind of soft pink or a green. You don't have to work with the color, but just if it kind of comes to you, just drawing a color into the heart and softening, releasing on the out breath. We're just going to do this a handful more times. Just really think about breathing kind of fully, deeply. Expanding into the ribs, into the heart as you're breathing in, and then that softness as you're breathing out. And we'll just do this one last time. See if you're visualizing the color, just letting that color go. Just now feel the warmth from your hands, so feel that connection. And then just releasing the hands, releasing the hands. Take a couple of natural breaths. And then just opening your eyes and coming back into the room. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to have the hands onto the knees. We're going to come to Sufi grinding. So this is just our kind of circling round. So we're going to do this 3 times one way. So you're, you can kind of take the whole body round, or you can work around the ribs, whichever kind of feels more accessible. I know it can feel quite hard to isolate the ribs. So if that's the case, just kind of take the whole body or the whole upper body round. Okay, so you're breathing in as you're coming forwards, and then breathing out as you're coming round the back. So 3 times one way should feel quite nice on your low back as well. I find this quite nice, releasing my low back. So when you've done 3 times one way, we'll go 3 times around the other. So you're really kind of expanding the chest as you breathe in and come forwards. Drop the chin towards the chest as you're breathing out. Shoulders are relaxed. It's kind of just a fluid movement, just to open up the heart, create space around the front and the back. So I think that must be 3. I'm completely lost count. So we'll just come back to center. So when you come back round, coming back to center. Okay, so we're going to come onto all fours. A couple of cat-cows. Okay, good. So breathing in, breathing in, gazes forward, and then tucking under with the out breath. And really kind of being extra aware of opening across the upper back as you breathe out, and then as you breathe in, opening across the chest. Okay, so this is always, so heart focus invariably has an extra kind of focus on back bend, so extension of the spine, but equally opening up across the upper back. If you're thinking of heart chakra, it's not just at the front of the body. So you're creating space, releasing tension around the ribs, around the upper back, around the chest. Okay, and then the next time you scoop up, you're going to bring the knee in. So you're going to draw the right knee in, and then you're going to extend the leg out and just press out through the heel. That's it. So keeping it nice and level with the hips. And then drawing the knee in as you scoop up. And then extending the leg out. And then we'll just do that one more time. So drawing that knee in as you're opening up the back body. Extending the leg out behind, and then we're just going to take the foot down. So the leg, so when it comes out next, when the leg's extended, you're just going to take the toes down. I'm a little bit further forward, toes are down, and then we're going to. So you might need to tuck the toes of the leg that's bent, and then we're going to open into a side plank. So you're just opening. So it will be, well, depending on position, you might end up away from me. So you just feel that you're kind of opening across the chest. That's it, good. And then coming back to center, and then we'll do the same to the other side. So the knees come back to all fours, and then you're going to have your left knee drawing in as you scoop up, and then extending out. That's it, as you take the gaze forward, and doing the same again. So just do this 2 more times. So drawing that knee in, opening up the back body, extending the leg out, gazes forward, opening up the chest. Okay, and then one more time. Drawing in, extending out. Okay, and then taking that foot down. So next time it comes out, foot comes down, and then opening so that whichever side you didn't do. Okay, and then you can feel that opening across the chest, one side of the body. Breathing, so just take a couple of breaths. And then coming slowly back to center. So hand comes back down, knee comes back down, and we're going to, actually we're going to come into Oh, let's just do, I might need to come a bit further back actually. Sorry. We're going to come through a kind of few flows. So we're going to lower down, move through into cobra. So you're lowering yourself down, move into cobra, so or however you're kind of coming up. You might come straight into up dog if that feels comfortable. And then opening back into cat, so opening the back body, and then pressing back towards child's pose. Okay, and we'll do that maybe just 2 more times. So you're moving through, or you might be placing yourself down. It really depends how that movement feels on your body. Coming back, opening through cat. That's it. That's nice. Nice kind of arching, and then pressing back. And then one last time. Moving through into your back bend. That's it. Good. Pressing back towards child's pose. And then we're going to move through and come onto our bellies. So we're going to come to locust, so Shalabhasana. So you're moving through to come onto your bellies. That's it. Okay, yes. So we're going to have a look at the upper body first. So we're going to keep the feet connected. You're going to have your hands just under your shoulders, should be all right, just under your shoulders. And you're just going to lift the upper body. So once you come here, once you know what you're doing, keep the head still, just to avoid looking at the screen. I don't want you to get a bad neck after it all. So you're just kind of lifting up. The gaze might be slightly forward, maybe to the top of the mat, or you might have the gaze down. So your hands under your shoulders, you're just kind of drawing those elbows back. So you're opening up the heart a little. Obviously, you are working with the strength in the low back, but for our purposes, just want you to really feel that expansion across the chest. Okay, breathe. Obviously, don't hold the breath, or try not to hold the breath. If it starts to become uncomfortable, just kind of come down. But I can see, those of you, I can see you look like you're hanging on in there. So we'll just take one more breath. And then we're going to release down. So just let the hands come to where it's comfortable. Maybe let the head go to one side, just to release the head, the neck. Or you can take the head onto the hands. You can take the head onto the forearms. Say 4 hands then, forearms. Whichever's comfortable, really, just so you feel like you can release. Okay. We'll do the same again. So you can have the hands at the sorry, I don't know what I can't talk today. You can have your hands under your shoulders, or if your back is happy, you can extend the arms out ahead. Okay, so really that just depends. If you any shoulder issues, that's not going to feel very good. So it's perfectly fine to keep here. It might be too strong on the back. So we'll just take see what feels good. We'll take a couple more breaths here. This is so good for strengthening your back. So if you do have any issues with your low back, it might not seem like the obvious one to do, but it's so good for strengthening those supporting muscles. Okay, and feel that stretch across the chest. We'll just take one more breath. And then we're releasing down. Okay, and again, take the head, if you took it to one side, take the head to the other side. It's really just for balance in the neck. If it felt strong in the low back, you can always wiggle the hips a little, release the low back. Okay. And then we're going to look at the lower body, so look at the legs, but we'll leave the upper body out of it for the moment. So you can either, well, you can have the arms by the sides if it's comfortable to. That might feel a bit weird. You can have the arms by the sides. You might be on the forehead, or you might be on the chin. Okay, if not, just comfortable arm placement. Okay, and then we're lifting the leg, so keeping the chin or the forehead connected, so you're focusing on the lower body. If it's too strong to lift both, then just lift one at a time and takes kind of equal time each side. So obviously this part of it is not a heart opener, but when we combine it, it is. So you should feel that again, strength across the low back, all the way down the back of the body. So a great posterior chain, so all down the back of the body exercise. Just take a couple of breaths. Again, another really good way just to support your back, actually, by strengthening into your bottom and hamstrings, all these supporting muscles. So just take one more breath and then releasing down. Let the heels kind of flop open, so you're really relaxing the legs. Wiggle the hips if that feels good. Just take a moment or two. So good to include this. I just trying to include this and Dhanurasana a little bit more, because it's so good to support and kind of keep the body nice and strong. We're going to combine the two movements, so potentially we'll come to upper body or lower body. And again, arm placement as feels comfortable, hands under the shoulders, maybe out front, maybe out to the side, maybe clasped behind. So kind of play with it and see what feels good. So you can kind of start hands under the shoulders, lifting the legs. So maybe you can do half and half if you prefer. You can keep the hands here. They might go out in front, they might go out to the side, or you might possibly clasp them behind. So you might feel a little bit more of an opening across the chest here. Just breathing, a couple of breaths. Okay, so it's super strong up the back of the body, but so good. So one last breath and then releasing. So the same kind of movements to release it. The hands just relax, feet flop open, so the heels are open. You can wiggle the hips if that feels good. Just take a couple of breaths. And then we'll just have the hands back under the shoulders and a super slow kind of press back to child's pose. Okay, so particularly if you found that strong across the low back, we just go nice and slow. We're just going to release the low back and the hips in child's pose. So arms can stay extended, or you can have the arms by the sides. You might have the hands by the sides. Release the shoulders. So just kind of be extra aware of releasing across the low back. Okay. And then we're just going to tuck the toes, bring ourselves up into downward facing dog. So start to open up the back of the legs. Okay, that's it, good. So wide spread of the fingers, pressing the mat away from you. You can pedal through the heels. So most likely will feel quite tight unless you've been doing anything kind of energetic beforehand. Sometimes morning classes feel like kind of easing the sleep out of your body. Well, certainly on Zoom, isn't it, if you haven't had to run around. Okay, we're just going to bring the feet to the hands. So step or a spring if you like. Come back into Uttanasana, that's it, nice. Just kind of hang for a moment. Feel like you're releasing through the upper body. So arms might hang, you might take hold of the elbows or maybe even the low legs to see how that feels. But just kind of release the spine. You can bend the knees if that feels better. So always kind of playing here, even if I don't say it, just kind of find what feels kind of helpful for your body. We'll just take a couple of breaths. Okay. And then we'll just take the hands to the hips and we'll roll up nice and slowly. So slowly finding your way to standing. Okay. We'll come to Surya Namaskar B. Do a couple of rounds. So we're coming through chair pose, Utkatasana. So standing to the top of the mat. So we're sitting back into chair pose. That's it, good. Exhale, folding forwards, hands to rest. Breathing in, half lift. Exhale, releasing. So a step or maybe a spring back to plank or knees down. So always that option. Lowering yourself down into your Cobra Sphinx up dog. Okay, so again, opening the heart here. That's it, lovely. Tucking the toes, pressing back, downward facing dog. Good. And then we're going to take the right leg out behind and then through between the hands, so helping it through if need be. Very good. Back heel swivels, so find that kind of grounded placement, and then the arms can come overhead or you can keep them in prayer at the heart center. Okay, so just find what feels comfortable. So find your balance first, that's it. And then maybe overhead. If the arms are overhead, really think about lifting up, so stretching into the fingertips, so you really feel like you're opening across the heart. You can even take a slight back bend, but you want to lift up and back rather than just back. Just create space around the low back, makes it more comfortable. That's it, bending into the front leg. We're going to take the hands down, so moving through our vinyasa, hands either side of the front foot. That's it, good. Coming back to plank or modified, lowering yourselves down. So moving through into your heart opener, that's it, good. Tucking the toes, pressing back, downward facing dog. Just taking a breath, a little kind of shift of the hips, so rather than tucking under, you're kind of sticking the bottom out. Left leg out behind, through between the hands. That's it. Back heel swivels, plants down, so grounded through both feet, bringing the arms, so possibly overhead, maybe prayer at the heart center. Okay, that's it, good. Very nice. So bending into that front leg, feel the stretch through the front of the back leg. Really reaching up if your arms are overhead, feel that reach. And you feel this kind of nice kind of opening. And even if you're not actively bending back, you are taking the spine into a slight back bend in Warrior One. Okay, taking the hands down, either side of the front foot, stepping back, plank, lowering yourself down. So maybe you can take the knees down first, or just lower the whole body, moving through. Breathe when you're here, shoulders down, elbows in, tucking the toes. Pressing back, downward facing dog, and we'll just take a few breaths here. So if you need to take a moment, then just take the knees down. So easy enough to kind of dial back. Okay, otherwise just thinking about wide spread of the fingers, press into the base of the fingers rather than the heel of the hands. Really draw up through the bottom and the hips. The extra stretch through the back of the legs, and then you're pressing through the heels. So it can feel quite intense up the back of the legs. Or your heels might naturally just be down, in which case just really kind of focus on that shift around the hips and the bottom. And draw your upper body closer. Taking the feet to the hands. So step, step, or maybe a little spring to the top of the mat. Breathing in, half lift. Exhale, releasing, hands up through chair pose. That's it, yeah. It's easy to forget that one. Exhale, hands to prayer at the heart center. That's it, good. It's warm today. It definitely feels warm. So yes, this is making us, me anyway, a lot warmer. So we're going to do the same again. So one more time. So we're sitting back, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold. That's it, nice. Hands to rest. Breathing in, half lift. Exhale, releasing. Step, step, or jump back to plank. So strong in plank, even if your knees are down, still feel that strength through the core. Lowering yourself down. Moving through, opening up through the front of the body. That nice release across the low back. That's it, good. Tucking the toes, pressing back, downward facing dog. So back to setting up a Virabhadrasana 1, taking the right leg, so out behind, through between the hands. That's it, good. Back heel, swivels, plants down, and then find your arm position, so overhead or in prayer. Okay, that's it. So either or, really bending into that front leg, feel that stretch through the calves, through the hip flexors, loads going on, nice grounding pose in as much as we're looking at it as a heart opener. Okay, just taking another breath here. And then taking the hands down. So either side of the front foot, stepping back to plank. Good, lowering down, moving through, opening up the heart. Nice, tucking the toes, pressing back, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Left leg out behind, through between the hands. So warrior one on the left, back heel plants down. So we're almost there, breathing our arms, so possibly overhead or maybe in prayer. Okay, again, your choice. Sitting into that front leg so you feel that strength, feel that stretch through the back leg. Okay. Taking the hands down either side of the front foot. Stepping back, plank. Lowering yourself down. So last time, moving through our vinyasa. So opening into cobra, up dog, sphinx. Tucking the toes, pressing back. Downward facing dog, and just the last few breaths here. So really pushing the mat away from you, lengthen that spine, shoulders draw away from the ears, rolling out rather than in. So if you feel like they're bunching in, just kind of open up the shoulders so they're rolling out. And then that little kind of tilt, shift of the hips, the pelvis, deepens the stretch at the back of the legs. Okay, bringing the feet to the hands. So a step, or maybe little spring, that's it, good. Breathing in, half lift. Exhale, releasing, hands through. Utkatasana. That's it, good. And then exhale. Hands to prayer at the heart center. Okay, so hopefully you should feel nice and warm. So having a drink, if you would like one. We will be using, or towards the end of the session, blocks. So if you have blocks or cushions could work. Let me just take that up a bit. You can do it without, actually, you can do it without. If you've got them, just have them to hand. Okay. So we're going to come to standing side bends, first of all. So just comfortable distance apart with the feet. We're going to bring the arms up overhead. Just thinking, oh, we're all okay? Yeah, okay. So breathing the arms up overhead, softening the shoulders, and then reaching over to the side. So opening up the side body. Gaze can just be forward, you can take the gaze up. Really kind of focus on that stretch and that opening up your left side. Okay, breathing, so don't hold the breath when you're here. Coming back to center, let the arms release, let the arms come down for a moment. Okay, good. So do the same to the other side. So just breathing the arms up, interlacing the fingers, turn the palms away, lifting up and over. So you really feel that stretch kind of from that hip to the heel of the hands. Equal weight between the feet, so not too much like that, not too, somewhere in the middle. And again, breathing, so just feeling that kind of stretch, side body. Again, it's kind of creating space, front, back, sides around our kind of heart, rib cage, that area. Coming back to center, and then releasing the arms down. Okay, good. So we're going to have a look at Natarajasana, so dancer's pose, and a nice kind of back bend. So if we will kind of prep into the legs first of all. So it is balance, obviously. We're going to have the weight into the left foot and grab the right foot or ankle or toes. So it's kind of like wherever you can hold, really, or reach, or the leggings. If it's hard to reach the foot, it's always an alternative. Okay, you can always kind of rest onto something for balance if that's helpful. Good. Okay, so you're drawing, and again, no pinching in the knees. So I'm assuming your knees are happy, and you're going to draw the heel towards the bottom. That's where you're heading. Okay, so you can feel quite, well, most likely, quite an intense stretch up the quads. Good. So find your drishti. We'll just take a couple more breaths because we've been here already a while. So Santulanasana, this is actually in pose in and of itself. Okay, and then releasing the foot and then coming to the other side. So just taking the other foot. Sometimes one side is easier than the other. So that's completely kind of normal. Again, heel towards the bottom if you're kind of in a relatively comfortable position with this. So just drawing deeper into that stretch. That's it, good. Again, using your drishti, find that focus. And then just releasing the foot, going back down. Okay, and so we're just combining that movement to come to our dancer's pose. So if you come back to your, so you're onto your left leg, holding the right foot. So your first side, yeah. So remember your outside grip or inside grip. It really is just what kind of feels natural really and what feels comfortable. Your other arm, so you can use mudra, Gyan mudra, thumb, first finger to touch. Just take the hand out so the mudra is at eye line, and then kicking the foot into the hand, trying to stay centered. There is a sort of temptation to open it out, but if you can, as she says, try to stay kind of shoulders, hips level as much as possible. Obviously, there is a slight degree of turning out. And then your drishti, it can be at the fingers, so at the mudra, or can be beyond. Okay? That's very good. Okay? Breathing. Very good. So you can feel the back bend. It's not huge in this way, but more so than other balances. Coming slowly out. Okay. And releasing. We feel it in the leg, the standing leg. Okay, so we'll do the same to the other side. So you're taking your left foot, or whichever one you didn't do. Again, just kind of see what feels good in terms of the hold, the grip. And then kicking the foot into the hand. Finding your drishti, so maybe beyond the fingers, maybe at the thumb and the finger, maybe folding forwards a little. So you just find what feels good. That's nice. The elegant pose. This is always looks nice. That's it. You can have that front hand resting on something if need be. Okay, and then releasing and then coming back. That's it, lovely. Okay, so I'm going to let you play, possibly, with holding the foot with both hands. So you can come back. We'll just take, once you're in the pose, we'll just hold it for 3 breaths, so we're not there for too long. So you might find the foot with both hands and then kick the foot into the hands. You're going to be a little bit upright. If you don't like that, because obviously both hands are then involved and you might feel a little uncertain, then you can come back to what we just did, but we'll just take 3 breaths. So you've probably done 2 already, haven't you? So we'll just take 1 more breath. I just find that you can really feel the back bend more in this position because your shoulders and hips stay level. Okay, and then releasing. That's it, good. And then we'll do the same to the other side. So kind of really try to focus on how you're feeling that back bend, because as soon as you're turning out, your back is kind of, it's a back bend, but it's a twist as well, isn't it? That's why if you keep the shoulders and hips level, it definitely feels more like a back bend. So other side, but you can come back 1 arm out if that feels better. Again, find the foot first of all, kicking the foot into the hand. Shoulders and hips naturally stay level in this position, obviously, is the way we're holding onto the foot. And just focus on the back bend rather than folding forwards or anything like that. Just feel that you're really opening across the chest, really creating that space around the low back. Okay, we'll just take one more breath. And then releasing. So release that's it, good. I like that one actually, but you can only hold it for so and so long. Okay, we're all doing this with our shoulders, so let's release the arms. So if we come to Prasarita, feet are parallel, just have the hands to the hips, and we'll just let our arms kind of dangle. So depending how, obviously if your hands are touching the floor, you might want to take the elbows. If the hands are not touching the floor, you might want to let them dangle, just to kind of release as much as possible. Okay, so whichever kind of is available, just to release the arms, release the shoulders. While you're here, release the jaw. So kind of purposefully let the jaw relax, and you might even want to sort of the lips. What's this? So you're just, is it like not raspberries, but just like let your lips relax. It's a good way to let the whole face release. And just shows you that you're relaxing, so the cheeks relax. Just feel that release through the spine. This is so nice for your back as well, especially after what we just did. And a nice counter pose. And then we'll just have the hands to the hips. And you can come up with a flat back or rolling up, so whichever feels better. Okay. We're going to come into warrior 2. So we've got feet wide already. Might need to take them wider, but just kind of see. So we're going to bend into the front leg. If when you bend it's overshooting, then you need to come wider. It depends how wide the last position was. So that back foot is in a little. Arms to shoulder height. Okay, any issues with the shoulders, you can do a teapot. Just see how that feels. Eyes over the front hand, so into your drishti, because it's strong on the shoulders. I've got quite a few people with shoulder issues at the moment, and this is you probably don't notice it in warrior 2 until you have problems with your shoulders, but it's quite strong across the arms and shoulders. We're building strength all the way across, as well as through the legs. So bending into that front leg a little more. Feel the strength from the feet through the legs. We're going to move into reverse warrior. So back hand onto the back thigh. Palm is up, and then you're opening back. So you can stay into the bend, or you can take the bend out through the front leg. Let the shoulders relax. So we don't want to hold any kind of tightness in the shoulders. So kind of consciously release the shoulders, reach into that top hand. Should feel such a nice stretch again up the side body. Okay, and then coming back through warrior 2 and then into Parsvakonasana. So just for a couple of breaths, so you can either come down straight low, or you can rest the forearm onto the thigh. So you can have your hand to your hip, or you can have the arm up or over. Okay, so it's really, I know there's a lot of options, but it's just to see what feels comfortable for you. So if you go lower, obviously you can use a block, or you can have the hand to the floor, but keeping the shoulders away from the ears. That's it, good. Just taking a breath and then just pressing into or pushing into that foot, and then coming back through warrior 2 for a moment. Good, feel strong through the legs, hopefully, and let the arms relax. Feel that there. We'll do the same to the other side. So we're going to turn to the other side. Yes, we did warrior 2 first, didn't we? So warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2, so bending into that front leg. If the bend is too deep, take a wider stance. Okay, and always that drawing back, so that back shoulder is over that back hip, not forwards. Okay, but it all look good. The drishti's over that front hand. Soften the toes. If you're gripping or they're tucked under, just lift, spread the toes and take them back down. We'll just take another breath or 2 here. So really strong across the shoulders. You really feel that. Coming into reverse warrior. So back hand, back leg, just to support you. Turn the palm up, opening back. And again, let the shoulders soften, just so you don't avoid that tendency of bunching the shoulders up. So creating length through the neck. Gaze can be up or just forwards, or just kind of wherever is comfortable for the neck. Just taking another breath here, and then moving back through Warrior 2 into Parsvakonasana. So probably the same as you did on the first side, if it feels comfortable to. So again, you can have your hand to the hip, up or over. You can come deeper if it's comfortable. If you're resting on your thigh, just don't lose that length. Okay, so your side angle, stretch, good. Softening the toes, really pressing into the feet, keep that base nice and strong. Okay, and then actually we could just kind of, how are we facing? We're all facing me. Yeah, if we can just turn over that front foot, and then we'll come down onto that back knee. Seamless transition. Where am I going after this? Oh yeah, so then coming onto both knees, that's it. And we're going to come and sit back onto our heels. I didn't rehearse that one. It kind of got us down to sitting, didn't it? Okay, so we're actually going to come into Ustrasana, which is camel pose. So this is obviously a heart opener. I'm just going to move that down a little. Okay, so if you're using, or if you know that you use blocks for Ustrasana, then just kind of have them to hand. It's quite a strong back bend, actually. I think it's another one of those Marmite poses that you really love it because you feel so expansive, or it's just kind of, it's quite revealing. You're quite open in it. So I think for that reason, if you think, you know, on a kind of energetic, emotional level, forward folds are safe, aren't they? They're safe and they're calming, and you're introspective. Back bends are obviously a little bit more emotionally challenging because you're really creating space around the heart. So there is that side of it, as well as that sometimes back bends are not that comfortable. So you just see how you get on. But you can, if you don't have blocks, you can also use cushions, or you can just not use them at all. So we're going to come, so you can stay facing, or you can come sideways. I'll come sideways just so you can see. We'll look sort of half first. So tucking the toes is always going to be a bit easier. If you're really comfortable, your spine is really open, you can have the toes untucked. It's harder because you've got further to reach. If you're using a block, you can just take a block onto those heels. Again, it's just so we haven't got as far to kind of to reach down. And you always want to think about pressing the hips forward and keeping that lift so you're not sagging into that low back, but you're stretching up, almost like you're creating that space there. Okay, so it's just that feeling of lift first before you come back. And we'll do half first. So if you just take your right hand behind, think about pushing the hips forwards. Hopefully you're in a position where you're not turning your neck. It's not good what I'm doing. You want to stay forwards. Maybe the hand is out ahead, maybe the arm is up and the gaze is up. If it's still too far to reach, just support the low back. Okay, so it's perfectly fine to have the hand here and supporting. So arm forward, gaze would stay forward, arm up, maybe the gaze opens up, and think about pressing those hips. That's it, good, because sometimes you end up sitting back into it, I find. Okay, we'll just take one more breath. And then just coming back, bringing the arm down if it's up, and just come back up. Okay, it's quite a small movement, but there's a lot going on around the low back. So if that felt too strong, then just bring the hand to the low back if that feels too far to reach. Okay, we'll do the same to the other side. So maybe, I don't know which hand you did. So it's maybe the left. I think it's the left, isn't it? Whichever one you didn't do, maybe to the block or the heel. So see how that feels. Pressing those hips forward, trying to keep level. So hips are level, hand is either forwards or maybe up. Again, just go with how the gaze or the neck feels. That's it, nice. You do have to be careful with the neck on this one. That's the only, I definitely will say, make sure you have the neck in a comfortable position. We'll just take another breath or two. Okay. And then we'll come, so bring the arm down, come up. We'll come back into child's pose for a moment, but go slow if that felt strong. It's surprising, isn't it? It's a small movement really, but it can feel quite strong. So just let yourself be small, stretch out across the low back. So nice and slow coming down to child's pose. Again, just kind of breathe across the low back, sort of direct that kind of release across the low back. Okay. And then we'll just come slowly up to sitting up before that gets too comfortable. He's feeling quite comfy down there. So we're going to see about the full expression of the pose. You can stay, well, actually you can just, if it feels too much or your back's kind of had enough, just support the low back and press the hips forward and open the chest. So the possibility there. Obviously, if you can find the heels, but then press the hips forward or tucked or with a block. Okay, so whichever is available. So find the heels, get kind of level, so your hips and your shoulders are level, and then press the hips forward. And your gaze might stay forward. I know it might look a bit weird, but it's more comfortable for your neck than stay here. Or take the gaze up a little, maybe opening up, but not dropping the head, because it gets very heavy to bring it back. That's, yeah, and then it's not a good feeling. So whichever you're using, you could even use 2 blocks. So hands might be to the block, pressing the hips forward, gaze in a comfortable position. We'll just take another breath or 2. That's it, good. It's good, that kind of compression for the spine is really, it's good to do that as long as you're just working with what's comfortable. Okay, and then if your gaze is back, draw the head up first, press yourself back up. That's it, nice. Yeah, I find it quite strong when she does it. I'm not a natural back bender, but it's super healthy for your spine to do that as long as you stay comfy. Let's come into Paschimottanasana for our forward fold. So if you come onto your bottom, sweep your legs around, and again, just see how your back feels. You can have kind of straight legs to work more into the hamstrings. If you, depending how your back feels, I'm keeping mine bent to release the low back. So you just take a slow fold forwards, and you should feel like such a nice release across the low back. So you can keep the legs straight. If you want to work a little stronger into the hamstrings, it's your choice. If you feel you need to release the back a little more, just drop the chin towards the chest. So you're not holding, you're just releasing, relaxing the spine. So if you just kind of almost visualize what we were doing with the low back, so the vertebrae across the low back, you know, when you're coming into that back bend, you've got that compression, you're drawing more kind of blood flow to that. And these movements keep the spine healthy. We're getting extra nutrients, extra nourishment, blood flow to the low back through that compression. And then when we're taking the spine into the forward fold, we're getting that nice release, which I'm sure you can feel. Okay, and then we'll just slowly come up to sitting. So obviously we're working at the level of the spine, but all the while kind of creating that space and expansion that we're kind of aiming for with the heart chakra. So we're going to come down to laying. So we'll come down and stay down. So see if you need layers. Very warm in my living room though. So coming down, yeah, we'll come into a twist from here. So if you have your arms, so either kind of right angles or out to the side, depending on your space. Let the knees come to the chest if your back is okay. And then you're going to let your knees go to the left side. So if you do usually cross the legs, then now you're crossing just to add a little weight into the twist, or no cross is fine as well, but just pressing into the upper back, so back of the shoulders, should feel, hopefully, a nice stretch across the spine. Maybe it's into the hips. Maybe you feel that across the chest as well. With the arm outstretched, you're getting that nice stretch into the chest and inner arms. Head and neck just relaxes, feet relax. So no muscular effort, so it's quite yin in that sense. We're just setting up the position. Okay, and then coming slowly back to center. And then over to the other side. So if you did cross the legs, changing across, let the knees go to the other side. Head and neck relaxes. Back of the shoulder connected to the mat. Again, making the most of that twist and the stretch. Naturally letting the breathing slow down. And then coming slowly back to center. And then just finding a comfortable position for Shavasana. So you can stay with the feet, knees bent if that feels better for your back, or you can have the legs outstretched. So again, your comfortable position, just draw the shoulder blades down. If you kind of come down and your shoulders are bunched up, so just drawing the shoulder blades down. The back is too arched, just tuck the bottom under a little. And just allow yourselves to relax. So really feel the weight of the body into the mat. So let yourself be nice and heavy. The arms and the legs, just heavy. No holding. Maybe letting your awareness come to your heart center. So feeling into any physical sensations. Might be aware. You can hear, feel the heartbeat. Maybe just the rise and fall of the chest with the breath. So hopefully we've created a little space with our kind of posture work today. Eased out a little of any physical holding, helping to release any tension from around the heart, any emotional upset as well. Just to feel a little freer. So just kind of breathing into the heart. So nice big breath in. And then as you exhale, just coming back to that opening feeling of just releasing and softening and letting that move through the whole body now. Taking another deep breath in. So it can be belly, ribs, heart. And then exhale and just letting it go. Just feeling the whole of the back of the body connected with the mat. Some points heavier than others, heels a little heavier. Around the bottom and the hips usually a little heavier. Back of the shoulders, back of the arms, back of the head. Just feeling the gentle ebb and flow of the breath. I'm just going to read some affirmations connecting with this idea of opening our hearts. The power of love is within me. I am surrounded by love. I am worthy of love. I am open and ready to receive love. I attract trusting and loving relationships. I take time to nourish my whole self. Joy is the essence of my being. I forgive myself for mistakes made. The past has no control over me. I trust that everything in my life is unfolding perfectly as it's meant to. So all affirmations that connect with the heart chakra, the energy of the heart space. Again, just breathing into your heart, feel it expanding with the in-breath. Feel that softening and that release as you breathe out. And just one last time. Expanding, breathing into the heart space. And that softness and that release as you breathe out. And just finding that stillness in the body, hopefully in the mind a little. Always coming back to the breath or the body if the mind wanders. And then we'll just come a little more into the breath. So we'll bring a deep breath in, kind of drawing more energy into the body. And then as you exhale, just sending that down into the hands, into the feet. And then bringing small movements back in. And then we're just really just layering on with the movements. So maybe wrists, hands, ankles, feet, toes, small movements. And then just layering on. Okay. And just slowly coming back to a comfortable seat. Good. Okay. And then we will close with our 3 Oms. So you have your hands as you wish, as is comfortable. Just taking taking a deep breath in, exhaling. Taking a deep breath in. And saying again, deep breath in. And last time, deep breath. Thank you. Just take the thumbs to the brow center, open mind. And then to the heart center, open heart. So thank you very much for coming. Namaste. Okay.